On behalf of Monaghan County Board of the CEA and on behalf of our sponsor, SFC Bank, I welcome you to O'Neill Park in Clontarf this Sunday evening for the second semi-final of the 1999 ATC Bank Senior Football Championship. And the Philander and Roja and Clark, the teams are lined out on your programme, which are available on the entrance to the ground. Castleblayney and the Logan will line out as per programme. In goal, Daniel Flanagan. Full back line, you will do number 2, Emmett Brennan, number 3, Edwin Murphy, and number 4, Gavin Duffy. The half back line, you will recruit number 5, Damien Duffy, number 6, German McArdle, and number 7, Mark Hammerton. Lorna Parker in midfield, they will have number 8, Justin Lockman, number 9, Ryan Tracy. The half-forward line, who will reside number 10, Dan Hughes, number 11, Rory Howard, and number 12, David Cardinal. Forward liners is number 13, Paul McDonald, number 14, Peter Duffy, and number 15, Kieran Harvey. The half-forward line, number 10, Ronan Sheehan, number 11, Nicholas Corrigan, number 12, Hugh Sherlock. Full forward line, Ivra Trieg, number 13, Ray McCann, number 16, Gerard McGurk, and number 15, Brian McGinnity.
Hello. Hello.
Nicholas Calvert on Wilcock and Waycore, Nicky Calvert, Rob Curry is the referee for this evening's semi-final.
Oh, it's very clear then. Oh, it's very, very clear. Well, I think you're just seconds away from it, really. You know, unfortunately, I'm only at the door, so I'm very little back on that. But anyway, not to worry. Right. Oh. Well, indeed. Nice,
Could we ask you to observe 1 minute silence in memory of Mark McElvaney, a player with the Clontarf under-16 team who was tragically killed in a car accident along with his friend Darren Allister yesterday evening at Ballygolly.
Mind your road.
You wait with that.
Gotta be still in your road here.
You go on, so go open. that, yeah. One minute.
I mean, you're
No, you're okay, all right.
Who scored that point?
The first point, Mousy. Mousy. Paul O'Connor. That's Mousy that's down. Yeah. He's going to bring it out all the time. It's a lovely place. Oh, that's
Get Ryan down there.
Eat the break! Eat the break!
He said he was prepared.
Yesterday, Jared welcome along to Lee Park here in Clontibbet, and we rightly say a spot on time this one. 6 minutes in the first half, but just to mention something, and that is before the match started, there was a minute silence. As a mark of respect for young Mark, that was very in the road accident over the way ahead. Right, 6 minutes into the first half. Back in 6 minutes into it, lots of action, lots of activity. A great bit of fight as it were, a championship fight in this particular semi-final. That's really my first to more score for this game. Almost 7 minutes in the first half. The second ball of SFC Castleblayney. In the second minute, then you have to go and carry after 5 minutes. And the second goal for McDonald landed one over Castleblayney. 3 points to no score. On Saturday, it's gone a big crowd of it out here. A very pleasant evening. Meanwhile, it's Scotstown that are defending back down here to our left from Jimmy and Duffy. Right up to the 70-yard line at the other end.
Come on, Brian!
Meanwhile, it's Jordan McGurkin incidentally was dropping in. They have to go to the ball. And now it's Ray McCartney inside the 45-metre line. Ray trying to get inside. As good as ever, but being buttoned up there, and in fact they're being forced to go to the ground and touch the ball on the ground, so the referee awarding the free out to Blayney in front. If you take way up at the other end, because Peter Duffy to pull forward, way out the field, chasing through, being down the road, awarding the free to Castleblayney. This one is about 55 metres out from the Scotstown goal, and in fact a little bit less than that. Still 3 points to no score, and Castleblayney are in front. Crowd expecting what one would normally expect from both these sides when they meet, indeed be it championship or league. There's always a certain amount of flair around. Derek McCross already through, and the short free out to the far side. We'll find Brady pressing forward again. Now Kieran Tabby on the 14-yard line, and Kieran has sent it out to the left. Wide for Castleblayney, but they do lead by 3 points to no score. I think that's a fair indication of the position and when they're going forward. They're leading by those 3 points with Scotstown yet to open their account, and I'm sure that they will do that before you. Meanwhile, Tom Brady is the goalkeeper down here on the left, and he will kick out for Scotstown. Play from left to right in this first half. Very pleasant evening indeed. And really good in the league in Giblet, and no doubt that the crowd would be expecting more than they would normally expect from these two sides. As the ball arrives down around the centre field area, not a point around the middle. Meanwhile, the eventual winner was Dan Hughes for Castleblayney. Dan was fouled, and the referee awarding the free that Peter Duffy will take. It's about 55 yards out from the Scotstown goal. A little to the right of centre, a fair distance out, but he's going to go up this one out of his hand, and he's trying to engineer or organise something, and obviously gets it into Paul O'Connor. Paul O'Connor, the centre half forward, the man that opened the scoring. He's in possession 21 yards out, a little bit further in now, trying to link up with McDonald, but it's cut off for a moment. Castleblayney still in possession though, and now it's Kieran Tabby, and Kieran Tabby has put it over the bar, and now it's 4-4. Castleblayney and Scotstown to open that account. Kieran Tabby sending that one over from about 25 yards out to make it Castleblayney on 4 points, and Scotstown still with no score, and that is after almost coming up now to 10 minutes of this first half. Meanwhile, Colin Brady once again to kick out down here at her left. for Scotstown. Playing from left to right in this first half. No, well, a little breeze, I suppose, very, very slight, little more than a puff. Flags blowing from left to right, assisting Scotstown in the first half, but nothing, I don't think, that were of any real advantage. A foul out in the centre here on Brian McCarville, rather, and that is Scotstown on the free to Scotstown to be taken by Brian up along and way into the right-hand corner, very close to the sideline. In fact, it may be gone out. It has gone out over the sideline, so this would be a line ball for Castleblayney, about 7 or 8 yards out from their own end line. And the right corner back, who is Emmett Brennan, seems to have swapped positions with Garrett Duffy. He's certainly operating over on this side from the match started. He's the one that's going to take the line ball somewhere down here in the right hand corner in front of that big crowd, and along what it is right up through the centre. Paul O'Connor again doing well into Peter Duffy. Peter Duffy 55 yards out, moving forward, advancing towards the 21, then transfers to Ray McCardle, and Ray McCardle has sent the ball over the bar. Yet another score, another point for Castleblayney, and that is now a total of 5. A total of 5. There's been 1 yellow card already in the game, but it's not dirty or anything like that, or untidy or unsporting, but there is that little bit of needle that you would obviously expect from these two sides who've been great rivals down through the years. 1 yellow card and just another booking there as we were speaking there after that ball had gone over the bar, and that was on the left half back for Scotstown, Gerard Corrigan, but nothing malicious about it. Meanwhile, 5-0 in favour of Blayney, and the kick out once again from Brady down to the centre field area, but coming forward again is Ray McCardle. Ray McCardle gets it way out to the far side where Porrick McDonald gathers it up. Porrick McDonald inside the 45-metre line, being fouled. In fact, no, he's not. The referee has penalised him for taking too much out of the ball. A little bit unlucky there, but it is a free outfield to Scotstown, and it's sent right up through the middle, where they're stalemate for seconds, but not for long. And Declan Lockman in possession, being fouled, so this is a free to Castleblayney that Declan will politely take himself and send it way in towards. Now going forward is Kieran Tavi. Kieran Tavi is shot a goal! A goal, a surprise, though valuable goal. Kieran Tavi had already got a point, and there he blasted that one in from very short range, and it's now 1-5 to no score, with Castleblayney very much in the driving seat in the early moments of this senior semi-final here at O'Neill Park in Clontarf. Well, Colin Brady walking out now, placing the ball on the 20-metre line to kick out. Scotstown certainly will not be very, very happy with the start that their side are having in this first 12 minutes or so. That goal coming after, in fact, 12 and a half minutes into the first half, and it's Colin Brady again to kick out and land it down to the halfway line, where everybody seems to be congregating out there to try and get that ball. And it was Scotstown that got it and do get it, and now it's Brian McGinnity inside. Brian McGinnity moving towards the semicircle, but his pass has gone completely astray, and the ball grabbed and cleared out and landed way down over the sideline by Gareth Duffy on the far side. A line ball to Scotstown halfway line, quickly taken across into the centre. Now it's Gerard McGurk for Scotstown, trying to do something about it, but their linking up is very much out of joint, and the ball being gathered up back here once again by a very vigilant defence, and then a centre forward in Paul O'Connor, who's back helping that defence, getting the ball forward to Ray McCardle again. Ray McCardle 35 yards out, punching the ball across in the direction of McDonald. McDonald a little bit further out to the far side, and coming forward Damien Duffy with a high one that goes much nearer the corner flag, in fact, than the upright out over the end line. And that scoreboard reads 1 goal and 5 points for Castleblayney. Scotstown still to open their account, and we've almost 14 minutes gone in the first half here in Clontarf. So it's Colin Brady once again to kick out here for Scotstown, down to our left. And he's certainly been very much the busier of the two goalkeepers on this evening so far. But perhaps it could all change. You never can tell. Out towards the far side of the field, dropping short of the 70-yard line. Stalemate once again. Ball on the ground. Players going down after it. The referee penalising one of the Castleblayney players for touching the ball on the ground. And this is a free to Scotstown just outside their own 70-yard line. And Gerard McGurk with a lobbing ball. Here's a chance now for Scotstown, and their centre forward has sent the ball over the bar. Nicholas Corrigan there. Many people might have felt that he had a goal at his mercy, but I think he was satisfied with what the Lord gave him and sent the ball over the bar. It's now 1 goal and 5 for Castleblayney, and Scotstown with 1 point, opening their account. D.
Show for a brain too.
I don't know where he's going. I know where he's not so bad. He doesn't look good.
No problem.
Come on, Anton. Oh, good save. Good save.
Target winning was surely over. You needed that one.
Dead set. Look at them up the half time, either. Good point.
Not an awful lot of change. If anything, some of the sting might have went out slightly at Castleblayney. They've just managed 1 point since they were with us last. And indeed it was a goal, I suppose, that one could say was converted into a point, because Kieran Tavi was through there seconds ago, and the goalkeeper, Colin Brady, come out to challenge him, but Tavi sidestepped him. He took a shot, what looked to be into an empty net, but lo and behold, popping up out of nowhere was Mark McKenna, the right half back. He threw his body right across the ball and deflected it out over the end line for a 45, and that 45 was subsequently sent over the bar by Porrick MacDonald. And just a minute before that, Scotstown also had a 45 that midfielder Brian McCarville sent over. So the score now is a goal and 6 points for Castleblayney and Scotstown with no goals, and they've also 2 points. And what have we, about 26 minutes gone now, 4 minutes to go to the half-time break. And the referee, of course, for this game this afternoon, Nicky Calvert, keeping a very tight eye on things. In actual fact, we had another yellow card since they were with us, and it was shown to Ray McCarran. Ray McCarran, who had a go or a crack apparently at none other than Declan Lockman. And of course these two fellas would be great friends also down the years and would have played along with Monaghan at county level. Meanwhile, from the kick out down here, the goal on the right. Scotstown, one would have to say, coming back into it a little bit more, a little bit of holding out in the centre, and Jared McGurk definitely operating out around the centre field area with the free out here into Ray McCarran, 35 yards out, dropping it in towards the goal mouth, and it's deflected out to this side. Ricocheted, hurling type of knockout to this side of the field. Ball going very close. In fact, it's gone out over the sideline. Down here to our right, line ball for Castleblayney, about 21 or 2 yards out from their own end line. A short one up to the 45-metre line, where there's a foul on full-back Edwin Murphy. Edwin Murphy fouled on his own 45-metre line, and he will take the free himself down towards this side. Again, it's very close to the sideline. Certainly no half measures in this one, and I can underline that very, very much so. Nice bit of action, good, hard, honest-to-God football in it so far, and let's hope that it will continue that way. Meanwhile, the ball now is back in towards the Castleblayney goalmouth, and in possession right now for Scotstown is Ronan Sheehan. Ronan Sheehan back to Ray McCarran. Ray's kick is half smothered, half blocked down by Emmett Brennan, who eventually gets it out to this side of the field, where Edwin Murphy gathers it up for Blaney once again. Edwin a little bit further upfield in the direction of Dan Hughes. Dan Hughes with two players around him being fouled, and the referee awarding the free to Castleblayney. About 70 yards out from their own end line. A short one out towards this side to Peter Duffy, unmarked. Unmarked also is Ray Tracy. Ray Tracy with a low ball, ground ball along the ground, but Jared Corrigan coming out for Scotstown, and the ball eventually cleared down to the halfway line, down to this side where Martin Hanratty was in possession, but the referee alleges that he touched the ball on the ground, and a free to Scotstown. Quickly taken by the centre forward, Nicholas Corrigan, up to the 45-metre line, down here to my right, Brian McGinnity in possession now. Brian is fouled, in fact, on the 45, and this will be a free for Scotstown that Fergus Connolly will take. Just a few metres in from the near sideline. Again, they're playing very much the short ball. Dangerous one right in towards the goalmouth, and in fact is pumped over the bar by Ronan Sheehan. As it came lobbing down, Ronan Sheehan rose to it and then knocked the ball over the bar. So it's now 1 goal and 6 points for Castleblayney, and 3 points it is for Scotstown, and the game is 29 minutes gone in this first half. And coming out, placing the ball on the 21-yard line, for those that might not be aware, but listen to this, Declan Flanagan, the former Monaghan star who starred for so many years for Monaghan in the half-back line in particular down through the years, this afternoon, or rather this evening, in the absence of the injured Joe Sullivan, is in goal for Castleblayney. But it's not the first. He's been there before, indeed for the county also. And his kick out on the far side will find Hugh Sherlock for Scotstown, but the referee, no, the ball has gone out over the sideline. Line ball on the far side to Castleblayney, and this one will be about 45 metres out from their own goal, way out on the far side. And just to repeat that score once again, 1-6-0-3 with the Castleblayney out in front. And they certainly started off in whirlwind fashion. And that goal by Kieran Tavy after 6 or 7 minutes into the first half seemed to set them up, and they were playing really ducks and drakes, but bit by bit Scotstown have been coming back into the game, and from the line ball up to the centre, it's Scotstown centre half back that comes forward again. But down here is Emmett Brennan to meet it for Castleblayney. Emmett gets it a little bit further upfield now to Paul O'Connor, but Paul O'Connor is robbed legally, and the ball cleared back downfield by Declan McCarville for Scotstown, where the referee has blown his whistle again for some holding down here, and the free to Scotstown will be 45 metres out or thereabouts from the Castleblayney goalmouth down here to our right. Referee speaking again to a Castleblayney player just to our right here. In fact, the Martin Hanratty, the left half back. But again, nothing too serious. This one is exactly on the 45-metre line, and Brian McCarville with a high one, very high, dropping down, also very straight, and not even. If Declan were standing on the crossbar, would he get to that one or any other Declan either? It went over the bar, and bit by bit, Scotstown are coming back in. 1-6 for Castleblayney, and 4 points now for Scotstown as the game continues to liven up. There was for a while that some of the sting and flair did go out of it halfway in, but it's very much back now, and Declan Flanagan coming out to place on the 21-yard line, and he will take this kick out, obviously, for Castleblayney. Declan with a short run at it, but so much so that in fact the referee, Nicky Calvert, in fact has blown the half-time whistle, and half-time it is here at O'Neill Park in Clontibret. 1 goal and 6 points for Castleblayney, and Scotstown on 4, Dara. Dara. Yes, Dara. Well, just about a minute into it. Right. That's grand. Right, okay. Exactly 3 minutes into the second half, and Castleblayney have increased their lead, courtesy of Porrick MacDonald from a free just about 2 minutes ago from a 21-yard free way down on the far left. That made it 1-7-4. Then Peter Duffy from play from about 40 yards out sent a high one that went in and over the bar, so it's now 1-8-4 in favour of Castleblayney. Just watching up here to the left now as Scotstown were attacking, but that attack is short-lived by a defence that are very, very anxious. And again now the referee calling to order now. He's speaking to one of the Scotstown players this time, and in fact writing down the name of Brian McGinnity here. There's the odd little scalp, to use the term, in the game, but nothing too hasty or anything like that, not too untidy, and certainly Nicky Calvert is standing for no nonsense and doing the job and doing it well. 1-8-4 with Castleblayney, and just 4.5 minutes gone now in the first half. Another yellow card, all right. But this will be a free outfield now to Scotstown, about or to Castleblayney rather, about 22 or 3 yards out from their own end line down here to our left, and Declan Flanagan will take it. Well, the referee has put the play on hold for a moment, and he's talking to some mentors, I understand, down here. Not so sure what that was about, but anyway, being sorted out. Declan Flanagan is ready now to take this free from about 22 yards out, with his left boot high and long down into the centre of the field. No clean catching this time, but Fergus Connolly winning a breaking ball for Scotstown, but not making an awful lot of use to it, because Castleblayney are very, very fast, very vigilant, and ready to pounce any little false moves. And here they are attacking right now, and right now the chip from top of the right man, Porrick MacDonald, he sent it over the bar. Porrick knows quite well that if he had sidestepped, he might have well got a goal, but he too was satisfied to send the ball over the bar, and over the bar he did. Now, we told you a little bit earlier in the game that Damien Francis McKenna was a non-starter. His place was taken over by Jared McGurk. Well, in fact, Damien F is in now. He is in now for Scotstown. We'll sort out who's coming off very, very shortly. And the other change, indeed, before the game in the Scotstown camp, and that was Damien McKenna wearing number 17 in for Cormac Sherry. That's how it was. Meanwhile, the ball to be kicked out down here from the 21-yard line. And it's a long one right up through the centre. Again, oh, nice bit of catching out here by Jared McGurk this time. And Jared being fouled, the referee awarding a free. 19-04 with Castleblayney in command. Tacking on the far side is Ronan Sheehan. High ball, but of little use really, because it too much nearer the corner flag also than the upright, and also harmlessly wide. 19-04 with Castleblayney out in front. We've about 7 minutes gone into part 2. Meanwhile, Declan Flanagan has the ball placed and ready and raring to go for this kick out. The winners, of course, will have the right to meet Carrickmacross in the senior football final on Sunday, September 5. Meanwhile, from the kick out on the far side for Castleblayney, Ray McCarl. A long ball up along the far side of the field. The hopping, deceiving ball, but gathered up back here by Declan McCarville, the centre half back for Scotstown. Down along the far side, Ronan Sheehan in after it. In after him is Dermot McArdle. And in fact, the referee has blown his whistle. There's a free outfield for a foul on the far side. A free outfield to Scotstown, that is. And this was about 55 metres out or thereabouts. A very strong, bright sun now shining right down the field and shining into the eyes of the Scotstown defence, as indeed it did in the first half with Castleblayney. A short free across into the centre. Seamus Mullen grabs it back then to McGurk. McGurk, short ball up into the middle, right into the hands of a Castleblayney defender, where it comes out to this side to Dan Hughes. Dan Hughes forced to get the ball back for Castleblayney rather than forward, but how it can work out for him. Then it comes back into the middle to Declan. Declan 70 yards out from his own end line, and a long ball from Castleblayney's defence line, dropping right into the 45 metre. What a lovely bit of fielding back here by Seamus Mullen at full back for Scotstown. And way out around the 45 metre line he was, but he went high for that one, brought it down very well. But up at the other end is Martin Hanratty coming forward now, and he gets it out to Ray Tracy for Castleblayney, and Ray's clearance up along this side of the field is going and not gone. In fact, is gathered back here by Anton McKenna. Anton McKenna for Scotstown. He gets rid of it pretty quickly up through the centre. Now it is Damien McKenna. Damien McKenna wearing the number 17 with the long ball up along the left hand side. 19-04 with Castleblayney out in front. And we've 9 minutes in fact gone into this second half, and yet another free. The free for Castleblayney to be taken by Declan Knockman. It's about 50 yards out from his own end line. Long one right up through the middle. Coming down to meet it, grabbing the ball, Porrick MacDonald. Porrick MacDonald being fouled once again. And again, I say, it's been very much the style in recent times, and particularly over this weekend. Almost 2 to 3 frees a minute, and a lot of pulling and mauling. However, a free for Castleblayney about 60 metres out from the Scotstown goal. Almost in the centre, just a little to the left as we look down. And this is one that may not go over the bar, but it certainly can drop in and around the house in the hope of something bigger and perhaps better. You never can tell, as that strong, bright sun continues to shine. Up he comes now, MacDonald with the free. High, floating right into the goal mouth. Knocked down a little bit, grabbed back here by the defence, and coming away with the ball and out to this side of the field now for is Mark McKenna with the long clearance up into the centre. But down at the other end here is Dermot Duffy for Castleblayney, driving the ball way out into an open space on the far side. Out there is Anton McKenna. Anton McKenna would fouled a quick free up along the far side to Ronan Sheehan. Ronan Sheehan for Scotstown now. Long delivery way up along the far right, chasing the ball. Brian McGinnity as it's going very close to the sideline, but in fact he's beaten for possession, and away comes Emmett Brennan with it, and Emmett for Castleblayney gets it out to the 50-yard line. A little bit further upfield now to Ray McArdle. Ray McArdle, to not mistaken with Ray McCarran on the opposition, of course, but it is Ray McArdle for Castleblayney, and indeed Ray is being fouled as he moves up along this side of the field, and yet another free for Castleblayney, and Declan Knockman lobbing this one in, but out comes the goalkeeper Colin Brady with a short tap out to Anton McKenna. Anton toe to hand, moving up along the far side, moving across the 45-metre line, about to be descended on by Porrick MacDonald, and perhaps it was Porrick's presence that forced him to kick the ball out over the sideline on the far side. So it's a line ball for Castleblayney, about 70 yards out from the Scotstown goal on the far wing. Exactly 10 minutes gone into the second half. Castleblayney leading by 1 goal and 9 points. Scotstown on 4. And the resulting line ball dropping around the 45-metre line. Jared McGurk again doing well for Scotstown. Gets rid of it middle and quickly to Mark McKenna. McKenna up through the centre now, takes a bit of a tumble, in fact loses the ball, loses control and loses possession, and the referee has in fact now blown his whistle, and not so sure in fact two Scotstown players down. One of them was the centre half back Declan McArdle, the other one Mark McKenna, but they are both back up on their feet now, and the referee is talking at this point in time to Paul O'Connor, and it was Paul O'Connor this afternoon, or this Sunday evening rather, that launched the campaign with the opening score for Castleblayney. The referee Nicky Calvert is speaking to him, haven't spoken to him now, in fact written his name down into the book, and when the play resumes, Jared McGurk will take the free for Scotstown. Not a very good one indeed, completely intercepted on the far side by the centre half back Dermot McCardle. He sets up Castleblayney again on the far side of the field, one that was very close to the ground, but here they are now on the move, on the 21-yard line, now the 14, the chip from the centre forward Paul O'Connor, and even getting his name down into the referee's book didn't affect him in any make, shape or form. Perhaps if Castleblayney win this one, he might be signing those. They will meet Carrickmacross, not Castleblayney, not Scotstown, but rather the winners of this semi-final will meet Carrickmacross on Sunday the 5th of September. Colin Brady to kick out once again down here to our right for Scotstown. They badly need something at this stage in the game. The game is now over 12 minutes into the second half, and they badly need something in the line of scores. They have failed so far, in fact, in this second half to score as Castleblayney go on rampage again. Again it's Paul O'Connor, a little bit further into McDonald, the ball going is gone. In fact it's deflected out over the end line, and it will be yet another 45. 45 for Castleblayney, who certainly look very, very dangerous and very, very dodgy, very vigilant in all aspects right across the field, particularly when they go forward. That time it was knocked out for a 45, and this one will be about 5 or 6 metres to the left of the goalmouth down here on our right. Just to give you a graphic description, Castleblayney playing from left to right in this second half. 110 to 0-4. That's the state of the parties. This 45 to be taken by Porrick MacDonald. A little to the left off centre, just a few metres. No great hurry. A player down at the other end, perhaps that's one of the reasons. And the referee just sussing out to make sure that it's not too serious and everything will be all right. It's a Blaney player that's down. There's a lot of people around him, but he's back up on his feet, and by all signs it was that of Ryan Tracy, but Ryan is back up on his feet now, so it will be over to Porrick MacDonald, who's having a good evening here for Castleblayney, and he's going to take this 45. He's already scored a few points in this semi-final with these great rivals. So Porrick, being very, very careful in his approach. Coming forward, high, long, straight, and the umpires look at one another. There was hardly any need to. It went over the black spot, or in this case the yellow spot, but it did go over the bar, and it's now 1 goal and 11 points for Castleblayney, and Scotstown with 4 points. And that's what they had at the break.
Hello? 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 Hello?
That's Mercy.
Brian McGinnity. Second booking. You made an impression behind?
He's got a big punch. He's got a big punch.
But I like seeing them go. There's nobody marking them, see them. Here's a goal. That's it. Kick her on and let them fight for it up there. Scotstown player up there.
Hey, Eddie, why don't you get out here? What is that? How you doing? How you doing?
Yes, Dara. Yes, Dara. The story is there were about 6 minutes to go, and it's 1:15 to 04. Uh-huh. That's right. That's... Yeah, fine. Okay. What, yes?
That's so important when you go play,
Yes, Tara. I've seen that.
Get back, watch back! Yeah!
Yes, indeed, just about 3 minutes to go here at O'Neill Park in Clontibberet, and the story of those scores. 1 goal and 17 points for Castleblayney, no goals and 4 points for Scotstown. And that's with about 2.5 minutes or so to go in the game. And never really at any stage, and that is despite introducing Aidan Caulfield, Eddie Green and in for Scotstown, it was somehow to no avail. The only bit of real misfortune that they had for a second booking offence, Brian McGinnity was sent off about 10 minutes ago. Brian from Scotstown, that is, of course. He was sent off for a second booking. Now, just for, I suppose, good measure or part of a strategy really, Castleblayney rather, they introduced at different stages in the second half Kevin Tracy, the most recent, before that Stephen McGow, and also Mark O'Connor, and this is just part and parcel of a strategy as they prepare now surely for a final countdown against Carrickmacross on September the 5th. Right throughout this entire second half they've been lords and masters, and you will recall at half time it was 1-6-4 in favour of Castleblayney. They have now 1 goal and 17 points. That means they've scored 11 points in this second half, and Scotstown have scored their first point of the second half just as you join us there, the ball gone over the bar. They have now 5 points. That one incidentally was scored by the centre half back for Scotstown in Declan McCarville. But it's 1-17 at present for Castleblayney and 5 points for Scotstown, and we're into the last few seconds of this one. Yes, indeed. Well, just a little bit, a weeshny piece left in this semi-final. There's a 45 for Scotstown. It doesn't make an iota at this stage. But anyway, Brian McCarville with the 45. He's put it out over the end line and he's put it wide. There haven't been any scores since we were with us last, other than to tell you at this point in time it's 117 for Castleblayney, who are now destined for a final countdown with Carrickmacross, and Scotstown with 5 points in this second half to date. That's not exactly over yet, but just 1 point for whatever efforts that Scotstown have put into this semi-final here this evening. As the ball arrives down to the 70-yard line, up goes Gerard McGurk, who did everything out around the centre field area to try and set up something up front during the game. That's not to say Fergus Connolly did his little bit as well, but somehow it just wasn't going to work. Anyway, the ball sent way out to this side of the field into an open space. We're deep into injury time, in fact, now, almost 32 minutes gone, and Castleblayney are roving again up along this near side of the field. And going forward is Kevin Tracy, the man that was brought in a few moments ago. Then the referee's whistle and a free from the 45-metre line to Castleblayney. Paul O'Connor, it looks as though he's going to take it. And in fact, Paul will be taking this one. Well, in fact, he'll not. It's, again, just a part of a strategy. It's Porrick MacDonald that's going to have a go. And Porrick now placing the ball just inside the 45-metre line. A short chip design, and Peter Duffy then taking it from the short tap, and Peter Duffy sending the ball over the bar, and that surely must be that. Well, when you were with us halfway into this second half, it was 111 to 0-4. Then you had Paul O'Connor, Ryan Tracy, Porrick MacDonald, Paul O'Connor again, then Kieran Tavy and Stephen McGill with points from frees and plays right up to the 27th minute. And then you had that Declan McCarville point for Scotstown, and that last score of the game coming from Peter Duffy to leave the final score here at O'Neill Park in Clontibret. Castleblayney 1 goal and 18 points, and Scotstown with 5 points. They just managed to score that 1 point in the second half, and it's Castleblayney that are back into the Monaghan.